Lost and Found. Raul sat on the dusty ground, squeezing his eyes shut so tightly that his face was all screwed up and his body trembling in concentration. His thoughts were directed out there, into the unknown, wishing desperately that something or someone could hear him.
Please, please let me see. It's not too much to ask, is it? I can't believe unless I see. It's too difficult to believe in the past without seeing. Help me. You must help me. I beg of you.
His thoughts paused and drifted back to the stories his great-grandfather, Old Pine Tree, had told him sitting by the fire on a distant still night.
Boy, you must try to save this place we live in. Men did nothing but live from it and use up all its goodness. They didn't bother to look into the future, nor did they care about us. It seems that man was a selfish race, using up and destroying everything in their sight. Look at what they left us. Rubbish, disease and pain. I tell you, boy, the saddest memory I have is of the day life left us. And that is when the last hope was destroyed by them.
Ever since that day, the few that remained living renamed themselves the Hopeless Ones. They had stood by watching man destroy all forms of life in front of their very eyes, fighting to kill for their next meal, eating anything they could get their hands on, until all beasts and forms of life were gone. Nothingness surrounded the Hopeless Ones, less than nothing, because on that damned day all colours were pulled from the sky, sea and earth, leaving in their place a lingering greyness that weighed heavily on the people of the land. Old Pine Tree had told Raul of the days gone by, when the sky was blue and the earth was bursting with colour. He spoke of animals which, in Raul's mind, were flat, colourless objects that moved around, and of fierce beasts that lived in the jungle, the green paradise. He spoke of small, delicate insects, of butterflies and their wings reflecting rainbows of light and colour, of spiders and the beauty of watching their dew-soaked webs catch the glistening sunlight and sparkle like jewels as they swayed in the breeze. His stories never bored Raul and were never repeated twice. There was so much past, distant beauty to talk about. Raul had trouble picturing the stories. He didn't know what green was, blue or any other colour for that matter. The sun to him was a flat, round, hot thing, so that meant that sunlight was warmth, that nice feeling when you're being comforted in your mother's arms and being rocked to sleep.
Oh, please, please, I have to see and touch life before our time ends here. Grey-Gran said that if I believed hard enough, I might be able to see. I'm trying, really I am. I need to know that it was true.
Raul stopped and froze with excitement at his last thought. It was true. Perhaps, well, maybe it still is true. Could life still exist now? Were the days ahead always going to be dark, bland and hopeless, or could there be something else? It was then that he first felt it. It tingled from inside him, starting from his stomach and working its way wonderfully to his fingertips and toes. He felt dizzy and warm. What was it? He sat shaking in a state of confusion and excitement. The legend spoke of a young man coming to the place, a man with something they had all forgotten about and lost. That thing was hope. A man who believed in the future, who hadn't given up. A man who had the power to restore life to its fullness and beauty. It was time. For the first time in decades, there was growth. A seed had been planted, a seed of hope, which brought with it a touch of life. Life, something good, amazing, miraculous, and not, as he had always believed, just a burden. Raul was in shock. Before this moment, he had not known happiness, joy, or excitement. All feelings had practically disappeared when life had left the hopeless ones at the time Raul was a newborn baby. He didn't know what he was feeling, but he liked it.
There is life inside of me.
He squealed with joy. Yes, joy. He had realized that there was more to the grey body that he lived in, the shell that weighed him down and made every step exhausting.
This is wonderful. I feel as if I could fly, run, jump, sing and play. Oh wow, so this is what happy feels like. Grey Grand, I'm so happy.
Then it happened. He looked up and saw the most beautiful thing he had ever imagined possible. So big, so cold, but in a nice way. It had things in it that looked soft and fluffy. The beauty was breathtaking. Raul gasped in awe. He had just seen colour for the first time in the sky. Suddenly, Raul's face dropped.
Oh no, how do I know this is going to last? I couldn't bear it if it went away. But maybe, just maybe, there's more. It could get better. I have to come back tomorrow and try again. Next time, I'll try even harder.
Raul rushed back home with his heart leaping for joy, desperately waiting for the next time. He thought it best not to say anything to his uncle, as he wasn't sure if his secret could be shared. This might be another of those things that could run out.
Where have you been, boy? Come quickly and collect roots. I'm hungry.
Raul went about his normal chores, wishing that his parents were alive so that he could share his secret. But alone he was, and alone he felt the life inside of him, the hope that could change the future. As Raul lay down on the rough ground, he drifted back in time to the days when Grey Grand was around to tell the stories. This time Raul had seen some colours, so he could picture them far more clearly.
My boy, I tell you, it was a time when miracles happened every second of every minute of every day.
That meant nothing to Raul, because miracles were impossible. They didn't happen anymore.
Women gave birth to tiny, perfect babies. Two people joined together as one. The impossible made possible in front of your very eyes. It happened all the time. In fact, so often that people just thought it normal to give birth. Can you believe that? A baby being born, normal.
He remembered Grey Grand pausing and gazing into the distance.
You, my boy, you were the very last baby, the last ever. Eventually, even babies stopped being born when hope vanished. You are the last of our kind, the last to face his time in this place until you two dry up like the land.
They were sad memories. Raul's stomach ached with heavy emptiness.
I'm going to be all alone. I don't want to be the last.
He cupped his hands and put them over his face. His body began to move and jerk a little, and he felt something warm and wet in his palms. These were his first tears, tears that were born when he received feelings that came with life. Although he was sad, he felt a strange sense of relief as he wept himself to sleep. The next day he sat in the same place and looked out, thinking to himself,
I'm here again. I don't know what to say or think. My memories last night were so sad. I don't want to lose my hope, but it's so hard.
Raul lay back, admiring the beauty in the sky. His mind drifted to the last woman who remained, born only a few months before him, the last in the place. He imagined her barren stomach and her pain of existence. The fear of nothingness and loneliness almost crippled his mind. But then he imagined something wonderful. He saw a baby in her womb, a tiny speck of life growing in the protection of her body. Raul felt on fire. He was imagining the unimaginable, and he was believing that new life could come again. Suddenly, to his amazement, everything around him changed and seemed to glow. Raul was seeing colours, not a few or some, but all of them. He trembled with excitement and spun round and round, watching the waterfall of colours cascading into his whole being, breathing life into his body, restoring his energy and raising him to a level of ecstasy that made him feel like bursting with joy.
I must go to the camp. I must tell the few remaining ones my secret. It has to be big enough for all of us. We all need to find hope together, to find life. I don't want to be alone.
Raul ran as fast as his feet could take him and stopped gasping for air in the centre of the camp. He called the few with great excitement. The sheer tone of his voice brought them running. They asked each other, "What's Raul found? What has he got? He's no longer like us, he's different." They flocked around him and sat on the dusty ground to listen to his message. He told them about what had happened to him during the past 2 days. He explained the sensations he'd felt within him, the colours he'd seen, and the tears he'd felt, and he shared the hope. Hope for the future, and his vision of life full of feelings and colours. As he finished, he looked around at the people's faces. Their eyes seemed to glow. They sat in silence. As he looked on, they began to weep. Smiles appeared on their faces, and years of despair seemed to drop off them like scales. They stood and looked around at each other. Is this real? Is this happening to me? Is it happening to you? It's amazing, incredible, beautiful, unbelievable, simply impossible. Surely this can't be real, can it? For the first time, the people were seeing colours and sensing emotions of hope, love and joy. They were being introduced to life, the life that had always been there, but the life that they had never been able to live. A life with reason, meaning and purpose. A life with hope for the future. With hope came dreams, and with the dreams came joy and heartache, but they were able to feel. They were whole, and nothing was going to rob them again of the fullness of life that they now knew they could have. The new beginning.